Hello again, family. This is day 42 of our Reading Through the Bible Together in a Year series. Today we're covering Numbers chapters 14 and 15. Now, where we have been is that Israel is in the wilderness on their way to the Promised Land, and they're going through a series of hardships, shall we say, where they're complaining and they're testing God in order to get some of the things that they want. Now, how we just ended yesterday was that Moses sent 12 spies into the land of Canaan to give a report, see how the land is doing, see who's in the land, what they're going to have to do. And the 12 spies come back out. 10 of the spies say, we can't do this. And 2 of the spies say, yes, we can. Yahweh is on our side. So let's see how that plays out today. Then all the people gave loud cries of grief, and all that night they gave themselves up to weeping. And all the children of Israel, crying out against Moshe and Aaron, said, if only we had come to our death in the land of Egypt, or even in this wasteland. Why is Yahweh taking us into this land to come to our death by the sword? Our wives and our little ones will get into strange hands. Would it not be better for us to go back to Egypt? And they said to one another, let us make a captain over us, and go back to Egypt. Then Moshe and Aaron went down on their faces before the meeting of the people. And Yehoshua the son of Nun and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, 2 of those who had been to see the land, giving signs of grief, said to all the children of Israel, this land which we went through to see is a very good land. And if Yahweh has delight in us, he will take us into this land and give it to us, a land flowing with milk and honey. Only do not go against Yahweh or go in fear of the people of the land, for they will be our food. Their strength has been taken from them, and Yahweh is with us. Have no fear of them. But all the people said they were to be stoned. Then the glory of Yahweh was seen in the tent of meeting, before the eyes of all the children of Israel. And Yahweh said to Moshe, how long will this people have no respect for me? How long will they be without faith in the face of all the signs I have done among them? I will send disease on them for their destruction and take away their heritage, and I will make of you a nation greater and stronger than they. And Moshe said to Yahweh, then it will come to the ears of the Egyptians, for by your power you took this people out from among them. And they will give the news to the people of this land. They have had word that you, Lord, are present with this people, letting yourself be seen face to face, and that your cloud is resting over them, and that you go before them in a pillar of cloud by day and in a pillar of fire by night. Now if you put to death all this people as one man, then the nations who have had word of your glory will say, because Yahweh was not able to take this people into the land which he made an oath to give them. He sent destruction on them in the wasteland. So now may my prayer come before you, and let the power of Yahweh be great. As you said, Yahweh is slow to wrath and great in mercy, overlooking wrongdoing and evil, and will not let wrongdoers go free, sending punishment on children for the sins of their fathers to the 3rd and 4th generation. May the sin of this people have forgiveness in the measure of your great mercy, as you have had mercy on them from Egypt up until now. And Yahweh said, I have had mercy, as you say, but truly as I am living, and as all the earth will be full of the glory of Yahweh, because all these men, having seen my glory and the signs which I have done in Egypt and in the wasteland, still have put me to the test 10 times, and have not given ear to my voice. They will not see the land about which I made an oath to their fathers. Not one of these by whom I have not been honored will see it. But my servant Caleb, because he had a different spirit in him, and has been true to me with all his heart, him I will take into that land into which he went, and his seed will have it for their heritage. Now the Amalekites and the Canaanites are in the valley. Tomorrow, turning around, go into the wasteland by the way to the Sea of Reeds. Then Yahweh said to Moshe and Aaron, how long am I to put up with this evil people and their outcries against me? The words which they say against me have come to my ears. Say to them, by my life, says Yahweh, as certainly as your words have come to my ears, so certainly will I do this to you. Your dead bodies will be stretched out in this wasteland, and of all your number, all those of 20 years old and over who have been crying out against me. Not one will come into the land which I gave my word you would have for your resting place, but only Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, and Yehoshua, the son of Nun. And your little ones, whom you said would come into strange hands, I will take in, and they will see the land which you would not have. But as for you, your dead bodies will be stretched in this wasteland, and your children will be wanderers in the wasteland for 40 years, undergoing punishment for your false ways, until your bodies become dust in the wasteland. And as you went through the land viewing it for 40 days, so for 40 years, a year for every day, you will undergo punishment for your wrongdoing, and you will see that I am against you. I, Yahweh, have said it, and this I will certainly do to all this evil people who have come together against me. In this wasteland, destruction will come on them, and death will be their fate. And the men whom Moshe sent to see the land, and who, by the bad account they gave of the land, were the cause of the outcry the people made against Moshe, those same men who said evil of the land came to their death by disease before Yahweh. But Yehoshua the son of Nun, and Caleb the son of Jephunneh, of those who went to see the land, were not touched by disease. And when Moshe put these words before the children of Israel, the people were full of grief. And early in the morning they got up and went to the top of the mountain, saying, We are here, and we will go up to the place which Yahweh said he would give us, for we have done wrong. And Moshe said, Why are you now acting against Yahweh's order, seeing that no good will come out of it? Go not up, for Yahweh is not with you, and you will be overcome by those who are fighting against you. For the Amalekites and the Canaanites are there before you, and you will be put to death by their swords, because you have gone back from the way of Yahweh. Yahweh will not be with you. But they gave no attention to his words and went to the top of the mountain, though Moshe and the ark of Yahweh's agreement did not go out of the tent circle. Then the Amalekites came down, and the Canaanites who were living in the hill country, and overcame them completely, driving them back as far as Hormah. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Say to the children of Israel, When you have come into the land which I am giving to you for your resting place, and are going to make an offering by fire to Yahweh, a burnt offering or an offering in connection with an oath, or an offering freely given or at your regular feasts, an offering for a sweet smell to Yahweh from the herd or the flock, then let him who is making his offering give to Yahweh a meal offering of 1/10 part of a measure of the best meal mixed with 1/4 part of a hin of oil. And for the drink offering you are to give with the burnt offering or other offering the 1/4 part of a hin of wine for every lamb. Or for a male sheep, give as a meal offering 2/10 parts of a measure of the best meal mixed with 1/3 part of a hin of oil. And for the drink offering give 1/3 part of a hin of wine for a sweet smell to Yahweh. And when you make ready a young ox for a burned or other offering, or for the effecting of an oath, or for peace offerings to Yahweh, then with the ox give a meal offering of 3/10 parts of a measure of the best meal mixed with half a hin of oil. And for the drink offering give half a hin of wine, for an offering made by fire for a sweet smell to Yahweh. This is to be done for every young ox and for every male sheep or he lamb or young goat. Whatever number you make ready, so you are to do for everyone. All those who are Israelites by birth are to do these things in this way, when giving an offering made by fire of a sweet smell to Yahweh. And if a man from another country or any other person living among you through all your generations has the desire to give an offering made by fire of a sweet smell to Yahweh, let him do as you do. There is to be one law for you and for the man of another country living with you, one law forever from generation to generation. As you are, so he is to be before Yahweh. The law and the rule are to be the same for you and for those from other lands living with you. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Say to the children of Israel, When you come into the land where I am guiding you, then when you take for your food the produce of the land, you are to give an offering lifted up before Yahweh. Of the first of your rough meal you are to give a cake for a lifted offering, lifting it up before Yahweh as the offering of the grain flour is lifted up. From generation to generation you are to give to Yahweh a lifted offering from the first of your rough meal. And if, in error, you go against any of these laws which Yahweh has given to Moshe, all the laws which Yahweh has given you by the hand of Moshe, from the day when Yahweh gave them, and ever after, from generation to generation, then, if the wrong is done in error, without the knowledge of the meeting of the people, let all the meeting give a young ox as a burnt offering, a sweet smell to Yahweh, with its meal offering and its drink offering, as is ordered in the law, together with a he-goat for a sin offering. So the priest will make the people free from sin, and they will have forgiveness. For it was an error, and they have given their offering made by fire to Yahweh, and their sin offering before Yahweh on account of their error. And all the meeting of the children of Israel, as well as those from other lands living among them, will have forgiveness. For it was an error on the part of the people. And if one person does wrong without being conscious of it, then let him give a she-goat of the first year for a sin offering. And the priest will take away the sin of the person who has done wrong, if the wrong was done unconsciously, and he will have forgiveness. The law in connection with wrong done unconsciously is to be the same for him who is an Israelite by birth and for the man from another country who is living among them. But the person who does wrong in the pride of his heart, if he is one of you or of another nation by birth, is acting without respect for Yahweh and will be cut off from his people. Because he had no respect for the word of Yahweh and did not keep his law, that man will be cut off without mercy, and his sin will be on him. Now while the children of Israel were in the wasteland, they saw a man who was getting sticks on the Shabbat day. And those who saw him getting sticks took him before Moshe and Aaron and all the people. And they had him shut up because they had no directions about what was to be done with him. Then Yahweh said to Moshe, "Certainly the man is to be put to death. Let him be stoned by all the people outside the tent circle." So all the people took him outside the tent circle, and he was stoned to death there, as Yahweh gave orders to Moshe. And Yahweh said to Moshe, "Say to the children of Israel that through all their generations they are to put on the edges of their robes an ornament of twisted threads, and in every ornament a blue cord, so that looking on these ornaments you may keep in mind the orders of Yahweh and do them, and not be guided by the desires of your hearts and eyes, through which you have been untrue to me, and that you may keep in mind all my orders and do them and be holy to your God. I am Yahweh your God, who took you out of the land of Egypt, so that I might be your God. I am Yahweh your God." So here it is, kind of the pinnacle moment where the people of Israel, for the, I can't say final time, because there are times after this where they talk about going back to Egypt, but this does seem to be the pinnacle moment, the culmination event where Moses has sent spies into the land of Canaan, and they come back, and 10 of them have a bad report. We can't do this. And 2 of them, Joshua and Caleb, they have the good report. We can get in there. Yahweh is with us. However, the people of Israel say, let's give us ourselves a good captain and go back to Egypt. And this is the moment where God says, fine, you've tested me 10 times in the wilderness, even though you saw all of my signs in Egypt. So now any of you 20 years or older will not see the promised land. And this is where God says, you're going to go off into the wilderness for 40 years, and this generation who was in Egypt will die off. Now, I do think that the stories and numbers are out of chronological order, and it's because, one, this is the center of 7 testing events. The last of one, which we'll talk about in a couple days, being the bronze serpent. But this is in the middle. This is number 4 out of 7, so it's directly in the middle. But this is the one where God says, you've tested me these 10 times. Now, we know that there's 7 in Numbers, and there's 3 in Exodus before they get to Mount Sinai. That makes 10. And so I do think it's out of order, but this is the pinnacle one, and this is the one where they finally say, we're picking a new leader, and we're going back to Egypt. And it just over and over again, Egypt was so much better. Why would, I don't know. We tend to be the same thing. We like our culture. We like the thing that breaks us down. We like the America that we live in, that the culture is bad for us in a lot of ways, and we want God's reality to be like the old reality, and we don't always like to be a part of the persecuted, let's say. Maybe that's not the greatest connection, but it just does seem weird to me that this people of Israel, over and over and over again, God took them out of Egypt, but it seems that Egypt is not coming out of them. And so finally, this is the moment. God says, fine, this generation won't receive the promise. And so I don't know. I hope I've given you something to think about in that. But regardless, I hope you have a wonderful day.